Welcome back to another episode of the Breakup Die. We've got an amazing guest on the show. We've got a relationship expert and the founder of So What community, Hope Flynn. Welcome to the Breakup Diet.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you here. I did like a bit of a deep dive on you on Google and you were celibate for a while?
Yeah.
Why was that? Was that
not now.
Okay, that's good. But was that because of a breakup or just woke up one day?
I'd say a few little situationships, but really it was for me. It wasn't because of a guy or anything or anyone in particular, but I just needed a minute.
Fair.
What have you learned from celibacy? Because I'm going through that journey at the moment. I really love it and I don't know how I could go back to being intimate. So what was it like for you from being in that journey?
I think being celibate for me showed me the kind of importance of sex. And how important it is and how sacred it is.
I actually saw something about that recently with it was actually on Two Hot Dead, so not that reason, but like a little bit ago, and it says the person stays in your womb 50 years later.
Yeah, a man's DNA can be inside you and in your head.
Yeah, some people, they never leave your head.
Buckle up, bitches. This is gonna get bumpy. This is the Breakup Diet.
They be living up there rent-free.
For real. Yeah, the celibacy journey, I'm not like telling everyone they should do it or anything like that, but I just think it's important to have periods of time to yourself without sexually engaging with someone. Be free, sleep with who you want, but if you're in the right headspace, I would just say my celibacy was more about me and where I was at that time.
Yeah, I so get that. Have you ever had a rebound?
Probably. No, not intentionally. Like, I've never just been like, oh, I'm going to sleep with this person because I need to get over someone else. I've never done that.
Would you say it's a conscious decision for you to kind of take a step back after a breakup?
Definitely, because, I remember once, I had a breakup and then I went out on a date with someone else and I actually cried on the date over the other guy, and the guy was like, oh, why are you upset? And I made up it's the most obvious lie. I was like, my cousin's dog just died and he was like a really big part of our family. But again, that's showing I went on a date too soon.
Yeah.
That I was sitting there thinking, I just want to be with the guy that I broke up with.
Have you had a lot of breakups?
I've had a few breakups and a few, let's just call them little plot twists, not breakups. But, I've dated quite a few people and I've had quite a few serious relationships. So, yeah.
Would you say breakups get easier the more you have them? Because I've only had 2 breakups and both of them has rearranged my nervous system.
I would say every relationship is different. So every breakup is different, and how you feel towards someone and how your relationship went, the reasons why you've decided to break up, they're never going to be the same. I haven't had that many more than 2, but I've definitely had those situationships where, there's been a breakdown. They don't get easier. It's just different every time.
Oh.
But, there are some, I remember not even so long ago, my friend was like, oh, how are you feeling after everything? And I was like, after what? And she's like, well, you stopped seeing that guy. And I was like, oh yeah.
He's already got...
some of them you don't remember, but then some you just don't get off your mind. Like we were saying, they just live rent-free in your head.
Yeah, what is that? Also, it's normally the people that you least expect, I feel, that stay in your head for so long. Why the good guy that was actually, maybe a catch, he just goes, you're sad, but then it goes. But, the one that's, not a catch, you'll be thinking about him for the next 6 months.
We like the bad guys. And for me, personally, it's those short sort of relationships that
I think you're meant to say short kings, and I'm like, I've been there.
I've been there with the short kings.
They leave a mark. The shorter they are, the bigger the mark.
Short but mighty.
Yeah. A small imprint, let's just call it that. But those short relationships, sometimes I find more difficult to move on from because, you're left with so many like, oh, this could have happened or that could have happened. But when you're in a long-term relationship and that breaks down, you've kind of tried everything.
That's actually such a good way of thinking about it. I never thought about that. That makes so much sense.
It's the what ifs, because we live in that sort of fantasy land of like, oh, we could have done this or we could have been this, but like, and then you never know. And then that's what makes us crazy.
And I think that's when you have to really ground yourself with reality, because unfortunately the reality is it didn't work out. What's the point in letting this fantasy brew in your head? You really got to take a step back and reflect and be like, okay, this hasn't worked out. Let me just take a breather.
Personally, I always think like, what if, or that could have been, or so that I'd find it so hard to be like, no, Yasmin, focus. All you got to do is actually just think about the reality, and it makes you let go of the fantasy, because
But fantasy is always better than reality. Reality never lives up to fantasy, but it's very hard.
Do you have any tips on how to let go of the fantasy?
I'll be honest. So social media is really difficult, because back in the day when I first started dating, we didn't have all this stuff. So you wouldn't see that person continually, you know, maybe occasionally if you bumped into them on the street or you're mixing in the same circles. But now that you have social media and everyone seems to have an online presence, you're constantly reminded, and it's really hard. So I don't really block people, but every now and again, some people have to get blocked, and not because of them, but for yourself.
I think blocking's good.
I think so too. You don't need to know everything about them. I don't care.
Or mute that bitch.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind.
Release me. Because it's like, honestly, there's nothing worse than an embarrassing ex and people bring up what they're up to. And it's like more embarrassing.
Like the saviors of a breakup and how I got over someone was he made his Instagram private. And that was like a godsend. It really, like, because I was in that phase of, you know, checking, stalking, seeing what he was up to. And that wasn't good for me. So him going private, like, saved my soul.
So you unfollowed and then he went private? Or?
Yeah, because I think, like, that's part of a breakup, no?
You don't follow your exes after the breakup.
No, I know.
I know I've liked someone because I'll have to unfollow them. If I'm cool with you being on my social media after like a breakdown, like I weren't that into you.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm so like that. If I have like a breakup, I will delete every single number, every single conversation.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but my friends, like one of my good friends, she never deletes anything, so she has all the conversations from like her first ever boyfriend, and it's actually kind of fun to look at now. Like she doesn't care.
Actually, I probably don't have any of that because I just need to free up some storage on my phone. But I've got a little memory box, like you know,
an Xbox.
An Xbox, literally, the female version of an Xbox.
What's in your Xbox?
Well, actually, it probably hasn't been updated for ages because now everything's on our phones. So I've got some photos, like, you know, little things when you go to like the theatre or out on a date and things like that.
What would you do if your new boyfriend, say you got a new boyfriend and... Like, hypothetically, they found that box and were like, why do you have all these pictures of these other boys under your bed?
I don't think anyone should have an issue with that. I've even got like roses in that box because like I remember
petals.
Yeah, rose petals from some guys.
So it's like potpourri.
Yeah, because I thought in my head at the time I kept them and dried them out because I was like, oh, if we get married, the flower girl can do it. I should probably get rid of them actually. But you know, it's part of your past. People have to accept your past. I'm not sitting looking through the box all the time and sleeping with photos under my pillow. It's just like it's a memory box. And it's not just a memory box exclusive for men. It's got other little things from my life.
I was thinking it was just purely for that one ex or like a few.
No, and I named them all. No. No.
Would you be annoyed if you found it at a boy's house, like all these things?
Oh, something just popped into my mind. So, you know, I have my So What community and I get a lot of people reach out to me. This one girl, she was like, I need your help. I'm dating this guy and on his laptop, I've come across a folder, and then within the folder, there's all different folders named with all his ex's nudes in.
I've heard that before. Was
it from my page?
No. I've actually just heard it from someone.
It's for me, like, obviously there's you know, people have
That is such a
photographs.
violation, and I kind of feel like that could be a crime.
Well, listen, I've definitely got nudes from people that they've sent me on my phone. I don't sit and like, it's the organisation of it that freaks me out.
Yeah.
And the naming and putting them into little folders and like categorising it, that's what gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. Like today I'm going to look up Vanessa. Like, no.
That's the creepy bit.
If they were like on the photo app and not, you know, on like your iPhone or whatever.
And you just forgot to delete it.
You know,
Do you know what? I've probably got to delete some stuff, but you know, you send nudes and you have to be aware of the fact that they may stay with that person. So
That's why I'm a big fan of no face, no case.
yeah, that's number one.
Never
nude
my
sending
face.
tip.
I've actually never sent a nude purely for this reason.
You just can't trust where these will go.
I miss having someone to send nudes to.
My ex, he would take pictures of me without me knowing.
No, that's a crime.
That's
Like-
so bad. That's so
He
bad.
was my first boyfriend.
So you don't know, yeah.
And I didn't know how to like bring it
Wait.
up.
You mean like naturally and you're chilling and he takes a photo, or because I've had a situation, I was in a shower and I caught a guy taking a photograph of
No,
me.
like I'd just
that
be
vibe.
like putting clothes in my like drawer, and I just see like, and like I look so unaware.
Was he trying to do up
Like
candid?
Like when you were nude or something, or like
Completely like getting clothes out of my drawer.
I would break up with somebody on that offense.
I'm a bit divided with
This
this
was my
one, to
first
be
boyfriend,
honest.
so I was really naive, and I was such a like pick me girl. I needed to be picked.
I don't, like I just said, I'm a little bit divided on this one. Yes, you know, people, you should have permission to take photographs. But if he was your boyfriend, he might have seen it as like a nice candid photo.
I
You
don't
need
think
to
it's
know-
in the
I'm
nude.
sorry.
You
in the
need to
nude
know-
context
Full
and
nude, no.
consent. Consent is a big thing for that.
Okay.
You'll let us have it. Like, thank you. You don't agree with it. I'm just going to agree with it right now.
I understand consent and we bring all those elements into it. But however, I've been in relationships and, you know, I've been naked and a guy's just wanted to take a nice candid photo of me. Like, it's not being creepy.
But I think that's maybe different if you're like on the bed or something. You're putting your washing into your
like my
cupboard,
laundry into my wardrobe.
bent over. Like no. So with your breakups,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever had one that's like really stuck with you and you didn't know why?
Yeah, I had one that took me about 8 years to break up. We just
Wait, it took you 8 years to break up or to get over?
literally, both. I don't know. The timing's so confusing.
Were you on and off
On
again?
and off. This happened, that happened. Can't stay away. This. I just never thought I'd get over him, but I did.
Why did you think you were like on and off? Why didn't you just like have one? Were you scared?
No, because there was external factors to our breakup. It wasn't that there was a breakdown in love or a breakdown of care for each other. So I think that was hard.
Do you think that was healthy or just no?
Absolutely not. No, there's nothing healthy about that. Not at all. It's really hard and damaging.
It's such a heroin hit, if that makes sense. Like the high
Yes.
of a toxic relationship, but then equally the lows.
And then you're so used to like being high and low, like you said, that when you meet someone and they give you stability, it seems flat and boring.
Yeah.
And that's bad.
Yeah, because with these relationships, the highest of
Yeah.
highs are compensated by the lowest
Yeah.
lows. It's an addiction.
Yeah, it is.
I've had it
It's definitely-
once really badly low, like a situationship, and they just like weren't that interested in me, basically, to put it blunt. But like I just remember like sat here like being so upset, and my mum was like looking at me like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm just dead." Like, you know when you just like feel like dead.
Or you want to die.
Yeah.
Because it hurts so much. But do you know what? I think there's something beautiful in that. You're so upset and you're hurt and you cry. It just, you know, it just shows you that you was in someone and you have that love in you.
There's
And I
beauty
think
in
that's-
passion.
Yeah,
And we need to celebrate passion. Everyone's too busy being nonchalant.
exactly. And pretending they don't care. I would say one thing that's been really important for me, I don't know where I came across this or if someone gave me this piece of advice, but just recognizing and understanding that grief comes with relationships. Like there's this kind of idea that grief is, you know, exclusive to death. Like the relationship died. So you have to go through that grieving process, and that comes in waves and highs and lows.
Yeah, you're
So
mourning. You're mourning.
You are mourning.
And we said previously, like, you're mourning someone that's alive.
Yeah.
That is so much more complex.
It is, because you can accept that someone's dead, right? There's a clear answer, but when someone's alive,
like the fact that you can reach out to them if you want to, but you know it's not a good idea, as opposed to when they're dead. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also when you think that you can reach out to them, like it's so tempting too as well. And you like want to do it because you think maybe they'll be thinking the same thing, or maybe they really miss me too. And then if you get pied again, or it's even worse, you're like,
ignored.
Oh. God, it's so hard.
It is hard. But relationships are not easy. They are not
so
easy.
Complicated, and I feel like no two relationships are the same. So sometimes, like, can talk to people about it, but no one would really know.
The thing is, you can discuss it with your friends, like, and maybe they should just listen, but no one else is actually in it, and no one can make the decision for you, even though...
It sucks, because I'd love for people to make the decision for me. I'm such a, like, pushover.
It would be easier. And you always get, you know, that friend that really hates them and is quite, like, stern and like, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And then sometimes you have another friend and it's a bit confusing, but you just have to kind of do you. I think deep down we all know what's right and what's wrong. And trust your gut.
Intuition is everything.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that didn't know? Like, that was confused?
Ooh.
Because, you know, what if they don't know?
I think then you've just got to try it all out and see for yourself. You know, because you can tell a friend a million times, like, don't reach out to someone. No, I don't think you should message them. Don't do this, don't do that. And then if that person's still thinking about it all the time and doesn't give it a go, then they'll never know. So just do what you've got to do and see what happens. If you're confused,
act out on your intuition. I think that's what I say.
Yeah.
And
if someone's like messing up your nervous system, like making you feel anxious and on edge, then they're not right for you.
With one of my exes, I would get the most horrible cases of UTI.
Oh, really?
And I honestly thought
what, from sex, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought it was like a me problem. And then I also thought that I had vaginismus. But
You
then
never told me this. What is vaginismus?
it's when, like, you're just so tense that sex doesn't work. You can't have sex.
She's literally not opening up.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and then, like, after that ended and I started, like, you know, dating again, I'm like, wait, I've been normal all this time.
It's a him problem. Well,
For
with you,
sure,
not you.
him problem.
It's the chemistry between you. It just wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know?
Wild. You shocked me with that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It makes sense, though. Like,
It does.
A man can literally make your vagina sharp.
Yeah. Like, glued.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I want to ask you about closure and what you think about closure. Like, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think people need it?
Yeah, I believe closure is good and it is nice to like wrap up situations. But I think sometimes we have to accept that closure comes from within. Yeah, because sometimes people just aren't willing to give you it.
I think personally for me, closure is if he doesn't like you, that should be enough. I don't need...
So you've got the closure already.
Like him not wanting me anymore is enough closure for me. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to chase someone who doesn't want me. I'll chase someone if they want me, of course.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm
such a lover girl like that, but...
There's a massive rise in ghosting and stuff. And
I
you
hate
know,
that.
I think ghosting and having closure kind of go hand in hand. Because when someone just disappears and you don't have the answers and you have to figure them out for yourself, it is really hard. But yeah, let's see closure like an expensive handbag that we all want, but sometimes you just can't get it. If you're a gentleman or if you're a nice lady, you give that person.
Communicate.
It's always communication.
That's what it all boils down
I say
to.
it time and time again, but everything comes down to communication. And that's like one of my biggest red flags actually in dating, is a change in communication. Now, I have been in situations and relationships where, you know, sometimes you WhatsApp the person all day, and then I've been in other relationships where that person might just call me once, but that's our communication style. It's when there's a change in it. So it's like, I don't need someone to message me all day. I can quite happily take the one phone call a day, but if that wasn't their original style, and then there's a change,
it's really hard because with one of my boyfriends, we would call each other every night, recap our day, and then suddenly he just would stop calling. And that's when I'd realize, oh, fuck. Like,
that's the change. That's what the change is talking
it's
about.
the change in communication.
Yeah.
And that's always like a signal and a red flag to me.
the calls suddenly stop.
This is so insightful. I'm like learning.
Yeah.
And
And what does that mean? That they're checked
It means
out?
it's like, it's a slow fade breakup, basically.
something's changed or something's happened or they're not interested.
It's just them showing that they've pulled back.
That does make sense.
There's
It
no
does
good
make
morning
sense.
texts anymore. There's no how was your day, or you know, that kind of thing. It just all goes back, and then you ask them, hey, when am I going to see you next? They come back with, dunno.
I'm really not a fan of this whole WhatsApp or that constant messaging. I've realised anytime I've had that, it's just game over. If that happens from the start, it's kind of game over.
Get attached too easily.
Yeah, because realistically, let's think long term, how are you going to talk to someone all day?
Yeah, you can't.
Like, it's not realistic. I'm more that kind of just pick up the phone to me like twice a day and let's have a little recap.
I like a phone
That's
call.
nice. Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
same.
I was just laughing because I was thinking we have that relationship. Like we talk all the time because I message Ilma all the time. Like,
Yeah, but that's girl talk.
That's
Yeah, that's
girls.
fine.
It's safe
different.
space.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
You know, even with friendships, when you're feeling exhausted by them, you're not responding in the same way, and that's a breakdown of a friendship. So it's probably happened with other friends.
Friendship breakups, right?
What's
They are
worse?
hard.
friendship breakups.
I think friendship breakups, because friends, best friends, you fantasize your life with them. You fantasize them being your bridesmaid, them being like your kids' godmothers. Like, that is a forever commitment. And when that friend goes, what if it's like a friend that you went into a business with?
Yeah, if we had a breakup.
Have you had a business friendship breakup?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I've probably had every breakup you can imagine.
What's your worst one?
The business breakup, very difficult. A romantic breakup, very difficult.
They're all bad.
Friend, family, like everything.
Actually, there's one thing that we don't really hear often. How do you bounce back from a friendship or a business breakup?
You just got to keep going. Like me, here I am.
Do you have any revenge plans?
No, I don't have a revenge plan, especially in business, or if you've got an idea, or let's say, for instance, you two with this podcast, like if it's something you believe in and you want to do, but one of the other one steps away, you keep going because that is what you believed in. Just because someone's walked away, it doesn't take away your beliefs or what you want to achieve.
Chin up, crown up.
Yeah, just keep going.
That's really inspiring, because it's so easy for you to just lose motivation.
Oh, it's difficult to lose, like to keep going, and you often do lose motivation and you have tough days.
Especially because, like, even being a content creator, you need a partner to do it with. I had a fallout with that partner. My Instagram died because of that friendship. I can't lie.
Yeah.
You think that, I won't find anyone as good as her who will take my content as good as her.
It is difficult when you've built something with someone and you have your way of working. So either letting someone else in, just like a relationship, letting someone new in, it's going to be different. And I guess with like my business and my stuff and having that breakup, let's call it, I guess I've been riding solo and going celibate with that because I haven't met a new business partner or welcomed anyone else in that way.
Are you in the stage of looking for someone to expand So What community with?
No, not in a duo way. Mm-hmm. No.
More like your CEO and their CFO.
No, like it's a community. So it's like a team of people building. I guess I'm not the CEO or I'm not the whatever. I'm just the person that guides the others, let's say. No, they guide me. It's a whole community. But yeah, someone else to help me with the social media and all that stuff. That would be very nice and handy.
Can you tell us about So What Community a bit more and like what it is and everything?
So What Community is a female-led community. It's it's a safe space for women to discuss all their breakups, their relationships, their dilemmas, their dramas, like anything. I've had the craziest messages about everything. And it's a really beautiful place for sharing information, and a lot of people want to help each other.
I wish I had this page when I was going through a divorce, because there's a lot of stuff that your community's posted about financial abuse in a relationship, and I'm like a pretty bad victim of that.
I go into difficult conversations, but I try to present these topics in a way that isn't so big and scary, and it's a nice space for people to feel heard and understood. And my one thing with my community is like, no one is ever alone. No matter what you're going through or like anything you've experienced, there's always someone out there that's had something a little bit similar. And it's bonkers. It could be the most craziest thing. Although there is something going on my page at the minute that I don't think anyone else has ever done or experienced. But it's this girl getting revenge. She's getting revenge to her HR manager at work. So she's left that workplace. I think they fired her, so she's actually now taken them to a tribunal. But she's found her HR's manager's son on a dating app and started dating him. Yeah,
that is messy.
That is revenge level 1000. And the poor, I think the poor boy, I told her straight away, I said, it's really not fair on him. You're using him to get at his mother.
That is wild.
Playing with fire on another level.
That's like a movie.
Truly.
So even people like that feel comfortable enough to come to my page.
Wait, so I'm confused with the page. Is it like what I'm envisioning, this might be completely wrong. Is it like
Reddit for hot girls?
Yeah, is it like Reddit? So then they can all see what other people write. And
so I keep a lot of things anonymized. So I people give me all their information and I sort of filter out what goes out. So I run a lot of stuff on the stories, and we have, like, I'll do the question box and then people respond, and then, even things I don't agree with, I share, because that is still someone's opinion, and not everything I say is right or the way that things should happen. But yeah, it's very interesting. I get a lot of data on women. I have a stat for everything.
Like a folder, like the nudes folder.
I do. I have a big Excel spreadsheet full of like every question that I've asked, how many people responded, and the percentage rates. So you could literally, I know how many of my followers had sex last week. I know how many of my followers have been on the pill. I know how many of my followers don't shit regularly. Like, literally, I have a stat for everything.
Do you have any that had a breakup?
Yeah. Listen, we talk about dating and relationships a lot. That's how I became a dating and relationships expert, from talking about it constantly for like the last however many years.
This is a really random question, so don't worry if you don't have an answer. But like, is there a season that people break up more commonly in?
But I might be wrong. I do believe that it's around the holiday period, like like Christmas time.
Interesting.
But I might be wrong.
I think I've heard that before in general when I've like looked up
don't quote me on that, but that kind of period.
It makes sense though, like going home to the family and you're like not sure on your maybe current boyfriend.
Yeah, I guess sometimes it is. Anytime there's something special or important, you start to evaluate like, oh, is this person for me? Or also it's just to get out of getting them a present. But I would think I would want someone more in the winter, and I'd want to be single in the summer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it was like now too. Do you have any tips for somebody going through a breakup, like right now? Your like go-to tips?
Yeah, just let it out. Be you. Don't compare yourself to your friend who, got over the relationship quickly. And like I said earlier, you have to grieve. If you've ever lost someone, we know that it comes in waves. The emotions, just go with it. But just be kind to yourself. No, it's really hard and it hurts. But it happens and we've got to get on. So give yourself time, but not too much time. Don't be waiting 2 years.
Thank you so much for coming
on.
on.
Sorry for messing up the middle.
No, you were perfect.
And then where did this handbag thing come from?
I don't even know.